Everyone. So we're going to talk about building a brand in a market area. A lot of times folks decide that their market area is going to be their backyard. And that's not always the truth. And in other segments, we talk about how to really decide what's going to be a market area for you. However, when you decide or when you choose your market area, you now have to be loud in that market area. You've got to go out there and you've got to let them know who you are. Because just because you chose them doesn't mean that they necessarily have already chosen you, right? You have to go out there and work to be chosen, to be the professional real estate person in that area. So today we're going to talk about branding in a market area. And the first thing we're going to talk about is defining your brand. So now, defining your brand is something that we go in depth in some of our other segments. And we go in depth in that segment because the one question that you want to ask yourself is, how does it make my client feel? How does it make people feel? And we've talked about this before because that brand needs to stand for something, right? And so when you're identifying your brand, you need to understand what it stands for. And once you know what it stands for, how do you get that word out? How are you loud about it, right? So that people feel what your brand stands for. I always use the example that if I see a swoosh, I understand that I'm getting a quality sneaker. I also know that that swoosh does not represent the most perfect sneaker on the planet. As a matter of fact, it's not. There are other brands that are significantly better than the sneaker with the swoosh. But I also understand that if I purchase that and a pair of shorts and a t-shirt and a hat, and I go to the gym in that attire, chances are pretty high it's made with quality material and quality stuff. And so it's going to last me a while. And that's what I'm looking for, that quality. It makes me feel comfortable. It makes me feel like I can trust the brand. It makes me feel like I'm getting quality material, quality items. What do I feel when I go to work with you? So this is where defining your brand comes in real strong. Now, we go into creating a professional website. This is number 2. Now, guys, I can't be any more clear about this. People will Google you. And if they can't find you, then you do not exist. Unfortunately, that's just the way the world works today. If it was pre-internet, then yes, you could prove your value and self-worth in person, and people would take you for your word. They would take you for how they feel about you and when they meet you and how that conversation goes. And to an extent, it's still true today. However, after that meeting, 95% of people are going to go to google.com and they're going to search your name and they're going to see who you are and what you've done. And if I can pull up a professional website with your information on it, then chances are very high that I am going to feel comfortable in the fact that you are truly in this business and that you do it professionally, right? Now, some tips I'll tell you with this. If you're creating a professional website, use your name on the website. For instance, my website is davidadamkurz.com. Your website needs to be your name. Use it. It could be johnsellsoklahoma.com, right? And so whatever it is, remember that you are your brand. And if you remember this, you know that your face needs to be on everything. Your name needs to be on everything. So how do I find you on Facebook? Do you have some crazy, I'm selling the best real estate in Oklahoma, or are you John Smith Sells Oklahoma? Can I easily find you? Are you facebook.com/John Smith Sells Oklahoma? Be smart about the way you market yourself. Use social media. We're just talking that about a little bit. And we know that there are some very popular social medias out there that are very intuitive in today's culture. And so just as much as people will Google you to find your website and see what information's out there about you, they are also going to go to social media and they're going to decide based on your social media if they even like you and can they trust you and do they even want to know you. And there's too much truth to this to ignore it. Social media is a phenomenon that has really encompassed us as a people for many years, and it will for many years to come. That being said, your presence on social media needs to be inclusive on your business and who you are as a person so that they can decide if they like you, they can trust you, and if they want to know you. What is your UVP, aka unique value proposition? What do you bring to the table that no one else does? What's your unique value proposition? Now, some folks can say that their unique value proposition is that they work with military personnel hand in hand. They know military personnel. They are military personnel. They were military personnel. They understand military moves. They understand what a PCS is. They understand all this stuff. That could be your unique value proposition. Something else that could be fantastic about you is that you know every homeowner in every house and that entire neighborhood. And maybe you live in the neighborhood. There's so many different things that you could bring to the table. Maybe your marketing is unique. Maybe the way that you create video is unique. Maybe the way that you promote your homes is unique. What really makes you different when you go to that appointment with that buyer or seller? What makes you different? What makes me want to work with you? Now, this one's a big one. Network with other professionals. Now, we're going to talk about two sides to this. In and out of your business. Okay? I went to a conference once, many years ago, and the stupidest, craziest thing I ever heard in my life. Gentleman got on stage, very well-respected person in the real estate industry, and he said, "You're wasting your time going to network events with other real estate professionals. Why are you going to happy hour with other real estate professionals? You're wasting your time. Those are not your clients." And immediately in my head, I said, you simply don't understand relationships in business. See, your offer that you're writing for your buyers is going to end up on one of their laps. Wouldn't it be better if they knew you, if they had networked with you, if they had met you before, if they even knew who you were, if they even knew you existed? Would that work to your benefit? The answer is yes. And so when we talk about networking with other professionals, we talk about in and out of the business. In your real estate business, you want to meet other professionals, but then there's the other side to it. Who are the doctors that own the offices in the market that you're trying to dominate? Who are the restaurant owners in the market that you're trying to dominate? Who's the nail tech in the area that you're trying to dominate? Right? Who's the manager at the pharmacy in the area that you're trying to dominate? Network with other professionals. Bring them together if you have to. Create a networking event. And get everybody together. I know agents that do block parties and they invite all the surrounding neighborhoods to come out and have a great time with them. Is that you? Can you do that? Or can you simply just get a restaurant, create a happy hour where people can come to and network together, other business professionals in the area? Wouldn't it be great if the doctor in the area that you're trying to sell or work in knew that you would be the one to refer him to the homeowners that you recognize and know in the area? Yes, of course. And then there is the number one, most important thing that we can tell you, and that is building relationships. Build relationships with the homeowners. Build relationships with the crews. Build relationships with the lawn care people. Build relationships with the community managers. Build relationships with the people that work at the clubhouse. Create relationships with not just the restaurant owners, but the waiters, the bartenders, the runners. Get to know everybody. I promise you, the more people you know, the more people feel like you actually care about them, the more relationships you have, the more business you will attain. And then, last but not least, and number 2 most important, because there's nothing more important than building relationships, is stay consistent. You can't do this just for a minute. You have to be consistent with this. You have to build this out. This is something that you have to go super strong on. If you decide that you are going to do any of this that we just discussed, or all of this, God willing, all of this that we just discussed, you have to do it for the unforeseeable future. Don't put a freaking deadline on, I'm going to try this for 6 months and see if it works. No, for the unforeseeable future. That's how long you have to do this. I hope that this section works for you, man, and I can't wait to dig in for some of the other stuff that we're going to be going over.